Okay. You like that?
Yeah, it's fine. What do you think?
I feel like...
You got a high bun today.
Is it really, really high looking? It looks really high from over here.
Yeah. It's super high. I don't know why.
Okay. Maybe I'll just
I like that you look taller than me.
Maybe I'll like sit it like this. Okay, well. So, what you want to talk about?
I want to talk about burning this whole place down.
What?
The fire movement.
Oh. You practiced that.
No, I just thought of it actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That was really
all spontaneous.
That was kind of cute. That was good.
You like that?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well, let's talk about it. What is it? What is the FIRE movement?
So, FIRE stands for Financially Independent and Retire Early.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, you want to do FIRE?
Yeah.
You want to burn it all down?
If that be so I can retire early, yes.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so to be financially independent, you have to change your mindset, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the normal mindset is to depend on an employer for your needs, right? Or for the ability to purchase your needs.
Gotcha.
Right? So you're not independent, you're dependent on someone. Right?
We all saw how that went in 2020.
And 2020 showed that, you know, during times of crisis, an employer is going to take care of themselves first. Even the undercover billionaire Grant Cardone, you know, he cut a whole segment of his corporation because of the pandemic.
Right.
So it just goes to show that the corporation is always going to take care of itself before it takes care of its employees or the people that are dependent on it.
That's right.
Right? Because the survival of the corporation is the most important thing to the corporation. Right?
That's true.
So to change that mindset, you have to change your mindset to not an employee, but to an investor.
Okay.
Right? So that's where the FIRE movement comes in, is the FIRE movement wants to have invested enough where they're actually independent from anything else but their investments.
Can you repeat what it stands for again?
It stands for financially independent.
Retire early.
And retire early.
Okay. So what number do we need to get to?
So
and how do you figure out that
the
number?
FIRE movement has a financial independence number, okay? And that is the amount of assets that you have to have or to actually retire early. That's called a FIRE number. Okay, and a FIRE number is 25 times your annual expenses. And they came up with that number from a study, and that came up with what they call the 4% rule, and it's called the Trinity study. And the Trinity study basically says that if you withdraw 4% of your investments for 30 years or more, you're going to have enough money to live comfortably in retirement. But the FIRE movement took that from, I'm going to retire at 65 to, I'm going to retire in my 30s or in my 40s.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
32, ready to toot. Get out.
So a lot of people, so say So say I want to retire with an $80,000 a year salary. I would multiply that 80,000 by 25.
And that's how much you need in assets?
And that's how much you would need in assets to retire early.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, so that's a lot of money. So we can do that math real quick.
Please hold.
Yeah, I knew it was I thought it was $2 million. It's $2 million. So you'd have to have a $2 million net worth
in order to make $80,000 for the next 25 years.
Yeah.
That sounds so overwhelming.
Right.
And so far away.
So the goal of the FIRE movement is to decrease your expenses so much that you can invest 70% of your income so that you get to that financial freedom number faster, as fast as possible. Most of the time, the goal is to get it in under 10 years.
Wow.
So,
like to get that much in 10 years?
Right.
To get $2 million in 10 years.
As a normal person, yeah. As a normal person working an everyday job, average salary $50,000.
Well, we don't have to add more people to our relationship to get it that way. We're accepting applications. Specifically, if you can cook and clean.
So to come up with this goal, you have to think a lot differently than a normal person, right?
Huh?
To come up with that goal. Yeah, call Meredith. She needs help.
Go ahead.
But to come up with that goal, you have to think completely different. You have to have a completely different mindset than a normal person. Right?
Right.
So, and honestly, coming from a poor background, that we come from, this idea is what we were living in normal life. I said that really country. Normal life.
You went real back to your roots.
So for us, it's very normal to shop at a Kohl's or from the clearance rack, or shop from a TJ Maxx from the clearance rack. For clothing.
I'm trying to find our notes.
So it's very normal for us to already be looking for sales and deals and
discounts.
Not buying name brand peanut butter. And
I like name brand peanut butter, but yeah, you can't taste the difference.
So in the FIRE movement, they talk about a lot of decreasing your expenses, and for us, coming from the normal background, we already do that.
So we should have been millionaires already.
Absolutely. Why aren't we millionaires yet?
Societal norms.
That's right. We fell into societal norms that made us broke. Like college. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, let's say the FIRE movement really, a lot of the blogs in the FIRE movement talk about how they saved money, or how they made a penny stretch further in general. Right? And then another thing that we do very well is we side hustle.
Yes.
Right? So the FIRE movement talks a lot about side hustles, whether that be delivering for DoorDash or Uber or Airbnb or whatever else, what other side hustles you can have. They talk about having a side hustle, using your free time to increase the amount of money that you can invest. Because the whole ultimate goal is to get to that FIRE number. When you get to that FIRE number, then you have choice to do whatever you want.
Yep.
So what's the problem with that?
The problem with what?
Why would most people not want to do FIRE?
Because it's a lot of work. It's very
because
time-consuming.
you're sacrificing for a future that may not be there.
Maybe,
right?
or
because you're not promised that you'll even live 10 more years.
I was just gonna say, people don't with their free time, they want to do other things. They don't want a side. They don't want a side hustle. They don't want to do other things so that they're financially free one day. They just want to work and be miserable and complain. So there are plenty of people out there that want to do that.
There's definitely a lot of people out there that just want to complain. They don't want a solution.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
For sure.
And maybe that is, you know, deep embedded that they don't believe that you can actually have a solution to it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe they just believe that they're going to be.
Or that's what they've been told.
They were C students all their life, and they're always going to be dependent on someone to take care of them. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe that's just what's been ingrained in their. It's just like we were watching a movie the other day, and it said college like 4 times.
In like a minute. You know, like in a minute time.
I'm sacrificing and going to die so you can go to college.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Was basically the.
That was that movie with Batista in it.
Yeah, Batista.
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 I call him Bautista. I don't know where I got that from. But yeah, like he literally was fighting zombies and then was talking about, I'm doing this so that you could have money to go to college.
Right.
You about to die just so she could go to college?
Basically.
She could go be a stripper and make the same amount. Pay for her own college. Like, stop. Anyways.
But yeah, so it's very clear that you can, and if you start paying attention to it, you can see the agenda of pushing everybody to college.
Mm-hmm. We definitely talked about that before, but yeah, for sure.
When in a lot of ways, trade schools and trades
are where it's at.
Or where the real opportunity is at.
For most people. If
you can understand business principles.
I mean, they give those away for free at the college. There's a whole business course.
And they have a small business center at most community colleges.
So if you need help with business, just go there.
Just go there and ask them what you need. They have
experts and everything. But so are we trying to do the FIRE movement?
We are not.
Why?
You tell me.
I don't know. I don't know why we're not. I thought we were hustling. Like, I don't understand.
What are we doing different than what I just explained?
We went to college. Okay, right. Then we talked about that.
So we got screwed.
So we didn't do that.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know why we're not. I thought that's what we were doing.
Are you putting 70% of your income into investments?
Oh, yeah, no. No.
Why not?
I mean, I got a little bit in there, but not 70%. I mean, I don't trust the bank.
So you don't even trust the brokerage firms.
I don't even trust those people. My grandma put some money in my account when I was little. Man, it's been sitting there untouched for like, how old am I?
32.
32 years. 31, because I took it out before I was 32. That was just like a little bank account. It had barely anything in it. But I really appreciated it. I appreciated when I cashed it out. But what I'm saying is that if I would have known about that sooner and like was educated on that or knew somebody that knew something about it, then I probably would have pulled it out a lot sooner and put it into something else. But my point, what was my point in that? I forgot. My point is that
you don't trust the broker.
I don't trust. I mean, they literally let my stuff sit there for 31 years. And then didn't do nothing with it, and then charged me, and then would reach out occasionally to want to talk to me about opening up a 401k. You want me to do more with you, and you just let my money sit here? Like, what?
That's crazy.
I was like, Mom's like, you, and I love you, Mom, but she's like, you should invite them over and sit, and we can have dinner and pay for their food. So you want me to open up a 401k, invite them to my house to eat dinner on us, after After my money been sitting here for 31 years,
Nah.
you got me messed all the way up. Anyways, so yeah, I don't even trust them.
Okay, so number one.
You got me hot. Need a drink of water.
The FIRE movement involves a lot of investing in index funds.
Wasn't that what I was doing?
No, that was a mutual fund.
Oh. See, didn't even know what it was.
So the number one thing you should do before you invest in something is
be educated on what it is.
Be educated on what it is. So would you invest in a fund and you don't even know all of the stocks and about all the stocks that's in it?
I should say no, but if you researched it and you told me to do it, then I would say yes.
No, you wouldn't.
I would know about it, yeah, for sure.
So that's the negative of index fund investing, right? Mm-hmm. Is that you cannot be educated on that many stocks.
Okay, that makes sense.
You just can't be. It's impossible. So you're basically, and don't get me wrong, index funds do very well, right? And most of the time they will beat your individual stock investing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that one time, that one chance that you don't know, and you get blindsided by that 80% stock correction that never comes back.
So
the difference between what we are going to do versus what the FIRE movement pushes, which is index funds, is I'm actually going to use ETFs.
What is that?
So the difference between an index fund and an ETF, they're basically the same vehicle, is that the ETF is traded like a stock. So I can trade it anytime during the day. Whereas an index fund is only traded after the session is over. So after 4 o'clock.
You can do that?
Yes, that's when index funds are bought and traded.
Where do you do that at?
Vanguard, Fidelity, the ones that sell the index fund.
Oh, okay.
Right? So
why?
So an ETF, so say I see the market has hit its RSI of 70, and
What's
it's
RSI?
about. It is an indicator. RSI is an indicator that a stock is either going to go up or a stock is going to go down.
Okay, so it hits at 70%.
So if it hits 70, that means it's normally going to go down and go down, you know. Where if it hits under 30, that means it's normally going to go up.
So you want to sell it when it's...
So I see a long-term RSI of 70. I know that stock's about to trade off and go down.
So you do what with it?
So I can sell it if I want.
Before it goes down to 30?
Now, a lot of people will talk about the tax implications of that.
Okay. Because you make money, you have to pay taxes on it.
That's right.
But then hopefully you have like other businesses that will counter the taxes that you lost from there.
So yeah, you can do that. You can use business expenses to counteract what your taxes would be.
That you had to pay for that.
Right?
Yeah.
But I say you don't want to necessarily... The reason you do that is you don't want to be sitting there when there's an 80% market correction just holding. You want to have the ability to get out if you need to get out.
Okay.
So, God forbid China and Russia attack each other and the stock market drop 60% in one day, or we have coronavirus 2022,
oh God,
you know, whatever black swan event, we have another black swan event, you don't have to sit there and hold. You can sit for 5 years to wait for it to come back.
Oh.
Or, I mean, let's say index funds are great for diversification, but you can do the same thing with an ETF and then not sit there and hold it while it's falling.
Okay.
You know, so I prefer ETFs.
Okay, neat.
It's just one difference between what we are doing and what the FIRE movement does. So instead of being invested in VTAX, we would be in VTI, which is the ETF version.
But they get like a residual income or something off that? Dividends?
Yes, ETFs have dividends as well.
Okay, so why aren't more people doing that?
The index fund is just more popular.
But why?
Because people just want to sit there and hold. They don't want to do anything.
Hmm.
People want to be the lazy investor, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want.
I feel that.
They don't want to open the news every day and say, "Hey, what's doing good today? What's not doing good today?"
I think the more and more.
What technology does Apple have coming out?
I think the more and more people like get and accumulate knowledge about the stock market in general, I think more and more people are going to actually pay attention to it. That's my personal opinion. I mean, like you said, there are people sitting on unemployment investing in the stock market, and that could be a reason why they're not going back to work, because they don't need to.
Right. So what we choose to do instead of doing the principles of the FIRE movement is we choose to. So we're investing our 15% for retirement.
I'm not. But you are. You might want to do 30 because I don't get retirement.
But then what we're doing is we're actually investing money into our business.
Yeah, we are doing that. Okay, I think I'm contributing more on that side, so
Right.
I need you to take more of the retirement side.
Right. So instead of throwing money into an index fund, like the FIRE movement would suggest, we would rather spend $5 a day on advertising for Meredith's book.
Yeah.
London and the Googly Goo.
London and the Googly Goo. I'm wearing the shirt. You can get it on Ensorsale.com. And it's on Amazon. Well, this is on Ensorsale.com, the shirt. But you can get the book, London and the Googly Goo, from Amazon.com.
Right now it's still hard copy only.
You mean soft copy?
Yeah, I mean it's not hardback. It's soft. What's that called?
Soft copy.
Is it called soft copy?
Paperback.
Paperback. There you go.
I'm like, do you know?
We'll eventually get there.
I'm about to say, like, do you know what we sell? I mean, no, we do, but no, yeah.
So we choose to put money into that because that is a different equation, right?
And it's residual income.
Right.
The book.
So she wrote the book. You target advertising for the book and for the T-shirt and for the posters, and then that's residual income forever.
True life.
You know.
That's just one example.
So that's a different equation than the FIRE movement, right? Whereas the FIRE movement just wants to invest in companies. We want to invest in our own company.
And ourselves.
And ourselves.
And ourselves.
You know. So, and then with retirement, I'm doing something different than what the FIRE movement and even more than ETFs. So,
what are you doing?
So in a Roth IRA,
I don't have one of those either.
The Roth IRA is my main investment tool, right? So I'm never going to invest more than $6,000 a year into my retirement.
Right.
So when you think about it like that, and you're going for a $2 million evaluation, $2 million worth of assets, how do you turn $6,000 into $2 million? You have to think a little bit different than I'm going to make 8% a year on the stock market.
Right. You got to make risky moves.
Right. So you're going to take a portion and you're going to do what's called the all-weather fund, and that's a principle by Ray Dalio. You can look that up if you would like.
Oh, what is it?
The all-weather principle. He tells you the exact percentages of what to put where, how much to put in stocks, how much to put in bonds, how much to put in commodities, how much to put in gold. It's called the all-weather fund.
Oh, So it's like all.
So no matter what the market's doing, you're going to be making money in some capacity. Whether it's 4%, 20%, 12%, you're going to be making money. It's called the all-weather fund. No matter what happens, you're going to make something.
This conversation is turning me on.
Well, I'm glad. So I'm going to take a portion of my money. So I'm going to take it.
You touched my toe. Go ahead. You're going to take a portion. Sorry, my foot fell asleep too, so.
That's nice.
I got pins and needles.
So I'm going to take a portion of my retirement money and I'm going to put it into the all-weather fund. So when I do get to 65 years old, I'm going to know that that money is there, no matter what.
Can you make sure to put that in for me too?
But then I'm going to take a portion of that and I'm going to do something completely different, because you're 10 double ups to $1 million. Right?
That sounds
and then you're 11 double ups. You're 11 double ups to 2 million, right?
And as we're doing this, we got business coming through.
Right. But so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take $1,000, invest it into one company, and say, and you take this chance every year, right?
$1,000.
So
What's the double up? What's the double up?
So $1,000, I'm gonna double it up to 2,000. From 2,000 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32, 32 to 64, and then this is when you're a normal person, this is when it starts to get hard, right? Because you take $60,000 and invest it in one company that you think is gonna double up.
That's scary.
And then when you get to 120, you do the same thing. Right? That's when it kind of gets hard for you.
That's kind of scary.
Right. For a normal person that only makes 50 grand a year, to take a whole year's salary and throw it into one company.
Or one thing, yeah, one investment.
But the cool thing about it is all that's the backup plan.
Okay.
Right?
That's very cool. Whose backup plan?
Ours.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, and people would say, oh, you're freaking crazy. Why would you ever just choose one stock? Well, Tesla went up 2,000% last year. Right? If I believe in Elon Musk, throwing $1,000 into his stock
I
is a
believe in
no-brainer.
Elon Musk now. Where was
so you have to find
where were we 3-5 years ago?
Who is the next Elon Musk? What company is the next Tesla? You can find it. It's out there. You just got to look for it.
But who would have known Tesla would be like that big of a deal? I really did not think that. I really didn't. And I guess a lot of other people didn't either. So.
But it's the same in this thing. It's kind of the same business principles as in partnership.
Yeah.
If they got a CEO that's a liar,
I mean
then you're going to lose a lot of money with them, right?
Yeah. Or do wrong marketing or whatever.
Yeah, wrong marketing, whatever.
Techniques. So you have to fully trust the business that you're not trust, but I mean, have faith that
basically, if you don't believe. If you won't put all of your money into that company, you shouldn't be investing in that company.
It's true.
Right.
And one little bad press release.
I mean, also, you can have things, and this is bad business principles, bad investing principles, but look at GameStop. GameStop went from $20 to $500 in 1 year. Maybe 1 month, not even a year.
I still wish I did that.
So just imagine you had thrown $1,000
That's
at
crazy.
$5 a share, and you sold it at $500.
But that definitely did not make sense to get GameStop.
No, absolutely. Once
it made
popped,
absolutely no
over
sense.
for
No,
us.
I mean, no, it didn't even make sense that these people were investing in GameStop. It just didn't make sense. Because they were a failing company.
That's right.
And then everybody's like, let's save GameStop.
They did.
But I didn't get the memo because I could have helped save it too. Shoot. The GameStop could have helped save me.
But part of the reason that index fund has any gains at all is because GameStop's up 5,000%.
That's crazy.
Right? And Tesla's up 2,000%.
But side note, I actually used to go to GameStop. It was right next to LA Weight Loss, and I would go weigh in, and I would go to GameStop.
I think everybody would go to GameStop just to play the games.
The games, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. I know I did it at Walmart. I don't know about GameStop. We didn't have GameStop, but
yeah. I used to like looking at all the cute little gamer boys that were in there.
Right.
Where y'all at now?
But I mean,
hopefully invested in GameStop.
Just do that math. 200 shares times 500.
I'm pretty sure GameStop was like also a like babysitter place too. So you just drop your kid right off.
Yeah.
And they would play the free games, and then you go shopping, and then come back and pick them up. If they like the game, then you get the game. If not, then
so that person would have turned $1,000 into $100,000.
Bye. See you.
Right. Off of one trade.
One trade.
You know, and it's very
That's
difficult.
wild.
Some people would almost call it luck, right? But if you're sitting there looking for stuff like that,
I mean, that is luck. Yeah. GameStop was luck. But if you're actually sitting there,
but people sat there and saw that there was a high percentage of people shorting this stock.
That's true.
If I can convince the public to buy into it, then all these short people would have to Wall Street bets. Right? Somebody convinced them to say, hey,
let's save GameStop.
Not let's save GameStop, but let's screw all these hedge funds that are causing GameStop to go to zero.
Are GameStops even still open?
I don't know. I have no idea.
There was one in Havelock.
AMC's barely open 3 days a week.
But it popped though.
But it's at $20 today. So.
I'm not a millionaire yet.
Yeah.
I made like $100.
Let's say, I mean, even if you just found the ones that doubled up.
Right.
Or even went up 20% at a time, or 30%. Mm-hmm. You know, you're doing better. You're doing better off than a plain index fund.
Exactly.
But you still have the rest of your money
to do
invested in the ETFs.
I was going to call it ETFs.
You know, exchange traded funds.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's one way that we're different from the FIRE movement is we invest more into our business, into our residual incomes, rather than investing into the stock market, which is overvalued completely. Mm-hmm. And the valuations on these companies is just insane. Mm-hmm. You know, Tesla is trading at 1,000 price to earnings, which is a normal company would trade at between 10 and 15 what their price to earnings are.
Crazy.
So it doesn't even make any sense to invest in those type of companies.
No.
That are highly overvalued like that.
I agree.
So when you see something like that, when you see things that are not doing what the fundamentals are, you do something different. Right? So, I mean, even though they're great companies, Tesla's a great company, Google's a great company, Amazon's a great company, Apple's a great company, but they're highly overvalued.
They're a fad. Just kidding.
Maybe.
I'm just kidding.
Somebody will come out with some kind of invention and they'll beat them.
I mean, it's always going to be the next best thing. You know, everybody's always waiting.
Before the iPhone, Nextel was destroying everything. Nobody could touch a Nextel.
You touched it.
And then came the BlackBerry.
You said,
Then came the BlackBerry, and BlackBerry thought they were invincible.
But they're bringing back something like Nextel.
And then iPhone came and destroyed them. Mm-hmm. And then all Apple's got to do is come out with a chirp app, and bye.
That's true.
You know.
That's true.
You know.
I mean,
if you get WhatsApp to start chirping.
But it's like walkie-talkie, like that walkie-talkie on a phone thing was like really popular.
Oh yeah.
Like especially can you imagine now contractors not having that? Like you got to carry around a walkie-talkie and a
phone.
Cell phone.
Right.
Like, how convenient would it be to just...
And at the time, the pager was the most convenient thing.
But that was kind of like a pager system.
Right.
Like,
so
I remember I used to page my mom's pager all the time. I still remember her phone number. I still remember her phone number too. I think it's like 532.
That's why she always tells me, "God bless you, Nate."
Probably because I would blow her pager up, bloat it up.
You know,
like, call me.
So, the second part of the FIRE movement is retiring early, right? So another reason we're not in the FIRE movement is because our goal is not to retire early. Our goal is to expand our business.
No, okay, yeah,
right.
That's true.
And yeah, maybe that means selling the business one day. We're going public with the business, and we're not as directly involved. But you know, for us, our number one goal is to expand the business. Right? So, Meredith's number one goal is to write more books.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. Definitely.
So that's the reasons that we're not going to the FIRE movement. There's also some other negatives of the FIRE movement, like what happens if you have hyperinflation and all of a sudden the money you were dependent on is not worth what it used to be.
Market crashes.
So that's where gold, silver, Bitcoin comes in.
Dogecoin.
You hedge your bets. And Dogecoin, our favorite.
I got it.
Make sure you buy some Dogecoin.
Yeah, bring it back up.
You know, so that hyperinflation is one of the huge risks for the FIRE movement. You know, you're dependent on these companies to give you money every year in dividends and selling off stock, and you know, all that is in US dollars. If the US dollar is not strong, and you have to think about it, since 1913, the US dollar has been doing this as far as its value.
And they keep going like this and putting more money into it.
Right. And saying last year they printed 20% of all the money that's ever been printed.
Crazy.
And then 2021 came around and they kept on printing. So in the last 18 months, 25% of all the money in circulation has been printed.
That's crazy.
So to bet on the US dollar right now is not very smart.
Sad.
You know, something's got to change. That balloon, that bubble is going to burst at some point.
Just wait.
And if you're sitting there dependent on the US dollar only, as the FIRE movement suggests,
I feel for you.
Then try to go back to work after you've been out of work for 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, so say you retired early, you've been out of work for 5 years.
I got you.
And then all of a sudden all the investments crash and you got to go back to work.
No.
Right.
No, sir.
So you don't necessarily have to retire early not to do anything.
Right. But you get to choose what you want.
You get to choose what you want. We choose to be in business for ourselves.
When we do.
And to have residual things like books, our podcast.
T-shirts.
Yeah, T-shirts.
Helping us.
Right? So, but all in all, the principles of the FIRE movement are good. It is better to be investing than not, right? You definitely want to make your you want to pay, number one, you want to pay yourself first, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
You know, automate your investing where it automatically comes out of your paycheck, you know, and goes into your investment accounts. And, you know, for most normal people, you're going to use, you know, tax-deferred retirement accounts. But if you have goals like ours where you want to make your business grow, you're not going to use the tax-deferred accounts. You're going to use the business expenses to offset your taxes while you invest in Roth IRAs. as your retirement.
Grow your business.
And grow your business. And grow, basically you turn into the mindset of a creator. You sit there every day and create something. And hopefully one of the creations that you make is a blessing to the market, and the market wants it. You do your market research and you make sure that that is what the market needs. Right?
Right.
And instead of doing the FIRE movement, you just become financially free.
Sounds
and have choice of what you want to do.
Sign me up.
And not just be dependent on just the stock market. Right?
Yep.
But if you have any more, if you have any comments on the FIRE movement, comment down below. Tell us what you think of the FIRE movement. Tell us what you think of our financial free strategy.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
The biggest thing is share the video, guys. If you find that this stuff helps you, it's definitely going to help somebody else.
Share it.
Because most normal people, they've got a mindset ingrained into them because of television and media. They have
their upbringing.
They may have no idea that they can be financially free too.
Right. That there's a way out.
That there is a way to make it where they have choice in life. Because that's what freedom means. Freedom is choice.
That's right.
Right? If I don't want to live in a certain place and work for a certain employer, I can choose to leave. And I can choose to do something else. I don't have to be trapped. Right? And I feel like a lot of people feel like they're trapped, whether it's because of health insurance or, whatever.
Yep.
But you can be financially free. You can do it.
Let's do it together.
Let's do it together. Comment down below. If you have any questions, hit us up. We're happy to answer anything that you need. This is the So What You Want to Talk About podcast. I am Nate.
I am Meredith.
And thank you so much for following along.
Thank you very much.
And we're out.
Bye.